This is On the Couch with Dr. K, a show focused on answering the questions of urban and hip-hop adults rising to reach personal stars in daily life. Now, here's your host, Dr. K.
Hi, good afternoon. You are On the Couch with Dr. K. I am your hostess, Dr. K, and welcome. I am so excited to be on the air live with you today, especially on Mother's Day. I want to start off by giving a shout out to Mrs. Catherine Patton Streeter, my mother and my inspiration for this show. I've had a wonderful time with you today, Mom. So happy Mother's Day to you and all of the mothers out there on this wonderful Sunday. So I have a studio full of gentlemen today, so I'm very excited. And I will start off by saying hello to Dee. Dee, you have a fresh cut over there. Yeah, you got a little going on. Okay, I see you. Okay. And so I'm going to continue to go clockwise, and we have someone who is well known to this community, Mr. Hubon Dutch Sandridge. Will you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Dr. K. I am Hubon Dutch Sandridge, Jr. I'm so proud to be with you and
so
to
happy to have you.
Share with the community. And I extend to all mothers a happy Mother's Day.
Great.
Be blessed and know that God is in the blessing business.
Yes, He is. All day, every day.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And lastly, we have someone who is very well known, not only in this community, but also in other communities in Detroit, as well as Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He got his start here in Memphis as just a culinary expert, Mr. Jessie B. Hearns.
Thank you. I'm just so happy to be here today with you, and just enjoying being in Memphis, Tennessee, and I had to come on the Dr. K show.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us. And for those of you who don't know, Mr. Hearns, he owns Jessie B's Hot Wings and Barbecue. So if you ever get a chance to go to Hattiesburg, this place won the best restaurant, correct?
Yes.
On Urban Spoon for 2013. Yes. So that is really, really difficult to do. And also, just as a note of interest, he is the brother of Tommy Hitman Hearns, who was born here in Memphis, Tennessee, right?
Yes. Right here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Right, exactly. So don't let anyone ever say good things don't come from Memphis.
They
because
do.
We're all here in Memphis, and I know all of us are good. So, so today we have a topic that is really interesting, and as soon as I put it out on Facebook, someone immediately sent me back a response saying, "Are you really going to do that on Mother's Day?" And I said, yes, I am, because a lot of us are having a great Mother's Day, but there are some people who are having a Mother's Day and their relationship with their mother is not the relationship they would like for it to be. So our topic for today is Mommy Dearest, how moms and dads sometimes can terrorize and ruin their kids with unrealistic expectations. So that's what we're talking about today. And if you would like to join in on our conversation, please give us a call at 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-KWAM. You're on the couch with Dr. K right here on AM 990, and we'll come back right after this first break.
AM 990, streaming live at KWAM990.com.
Photography is so much better than reality. Marcus Edward Mediascape is a great photographer. Instead of purchasing plastic surgery, let him do all of your photos today. Try Marcus Edward. He is the plastic surgeon of photographers. Contact Marcus today at www.memediascape.webs.com. For legal experience with a Christian touch, call the law offices of attorneys Juliet Akins and Victoria Gillard. We stop foreclosures and repossessions. Other areas of our practice include personal injury, civil and criminal matters, divorce, child support, child custody, and Social Security cases. Call today at 901-522-0009 or 901-624-8852 for a free consultation. Are you considering buying or selling a home and don't know where to start? Call Sharon Brown of Cry-Like Realtors at 901-355-7271. To learn more about the services offered by Sharon Brown, visit her on the web at www.sharonbrown.cry-like.com or like her on Facebook today. Her success comes when your home is sold or you have the keys to your new home. Call Sharon Brown of Cry-Like Realtors at 901-355-7271 for all your real estate needs today. Streeter's Total Beauty is a hair salon that invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of beauty today. Dial 901-649-0559. Look to Randa Patton Streeter's lifestyle blog, which also invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of high fashion and glamour. Like her on Facebook today.
But tonight,
And you're back. You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K. I am your hostess, Dr. K, right here on AM 990. And today we are talking about Mommy Dearest, how moms and dads terrorize and ruin their kids with unrealistic expectations. If you'd like to join in on the conversation, we're right here at 901-260-5926. You may also Facebook us at On the Couch with Dr. K or email us at onthecouchwithdr.K@gmail.com. So we're going to get into some of our stats and facts. And of course, this information, like always, was gathered by my super duper intelligent intern, Stanley Shotwell II. So thank you, Stanley, if you're listening today. Thank you for this wonderful information. And I asked Stanley to find out the percentage of children who are diagnosed with disorders in the United States. And this is why. Because a lot of times when children are experiencing a lot of stressors, they may go on to then develop some of these disorders, such as bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, any of those. And sometimes as parents, we don't realize that we're helping to create some of that stress. So bipolar disorder affects approximately 5.7 million adult Americans, or about 2.6% of the U.S. population age 18 and older, and that's every year. Now, when we are looking at children, up to 1/3 of the 3.4 million children who are diagnosed with depression in the United States, they actually may be experiencing the early onset of bipolar disorder. So, when you have two adults who get together and they have a child, if both adults have bipolar disorder, the risk of having a child with bipolar disorder is 50 to 75%.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes. And so, a lot of times people kind of attract each other.
Right.
And so if you have adults who are like that, they have a risk of having a child who is like that. So 2.5% of the youth in the United States right now meet the criteria for bipolar disorder at some point in their lifetime. And every year, about 2.2% of our children are actually diagnosed with bipolar disorder. If we look at depression, we would say, and this was in 2008, and this is from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. They did a national survey on drug use and health. And basically, their most recent data shows the prevalence of depression among 12 to 17-year-olds in the U.S. to be 8.3%. Now, that's much higher than what I thought it would be, 8.3%. And then if we look at anxiety, and that's just a lot of worry and stress, it affects about 40 million American adults age 18 years and older in any given year. And if we look at children, we're talking about 8% of teenagers 13 to 18 have an anxiety disorder. And their symptoms commonly emerge around, guess what age? 6.
May I give the biblical perspective as the pastor?
Please.
Proud pastor of Thomas Chapel Baptist Church for 38 years. This morning, Mother's Day.
Yes.
And I didn't do a lot of preaching. I just gave a couple of verses.
Yes.
Because my persuasion is always that of the spiritual persuasion.
Yes.
And when you just look at Proverbs 22:6, and I just dropped a couple of passages of scripture on the congregation. Train up a child.
Right.
In the way he should go. And when he is old, he will or she will not depart.
Right.
The basic problem I see, and we're dealing with this age of toxic stress. Parents, I don't think, spend enough time
Training.
Yes.
with their children
Right.
to train them, Mr. Hearns and Dr. K. I mean, you've got to actually, we talk about it and we say, well, these young girls fighting each other. What's going on out here? But when there is no real training,
Right.
and when our parents are babies having babies, when our parents don't understand the importance of educating, training your child, you can expect what you see.
Right.
I mean, it's just that simple, and if you fail, that's even in stages of when a mother is pregnant during the 9 months. You've got to be careful as a mother.
Exactly.
In terms of what you do.
Goes to the
all
child.
of that flows to the child.
All of that flows right
and
to the child.
biblically, the only way you can go is to appreciate what God is saying. Train the child. And if you fail to train, I promise you, then we will always be encountering what I saw the other day on Facebook when I saw 2 young ladies fighting each other. One hits another with a Coke bottle. And I mean, we're seeing this all over the country.
Right, exactly.
And it's happening in the African-American community as well as other communities. But I promise you, it begins with training on behalf, not of mom, mothers and fathers working together.
Well,
how are they going to train when they never had any training themselves?
That's our number one problem.
Exactly.
If our ancestors had not worked with us diligently, we're kind of close in age here in the studio. But we had parents who taught us what value was. They taught us what it was to grow up and deal with being intelligent. You remember the day when we were in church and your mama could look at you. And you would stop.
Gave you that look.
Gave you that look. Right. You didn't need.
That's all she needed.
You didn't need a strap. And I mean, some person was talking to me. I think it was this morning or yesterday. And the lady said, I was in the store, Rev. And I said, you were? I said, what happened? A 3-year-old cursing the mother out. Does that make sense? A
Ridiculous.
3-year-old. Okay.
But I'm going to jump in here because, and I have to play devil's advocate for a minute, because I believe that sometimes we have some parents who believe they are training and they're overtraining. They're taking it to an extent because you're talking about a 3-year-old cursing out a parent. Well, I've seen an incident where a parent cursed out a 3-year-old from the moment they walked out of the car to the moment they hit the school door, and it was so violent because I watched it.
It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. I was in shock. And as I saw that baby leave that car and get smaller and smaller as she was walking toward the door of her preschool, I had to stop her and say, baby, are you okay?
Right. You wanted to know what's going on
because
here. Yeah.
And when I looked in her face, she looked like she had been hit. I mean, just because, not physically hit, but she had that look of brokenness. And that's actually one question we had on Facebook. It comes from Linda. And she says, what happens when children are broken? What happens to them?
This is my personal point. When a child is broken, you know where it started. It started in the home. Mr. Hearns, you were about to address that. When these teachers teaching, parents need to be taught and that type of, you do need to teach parents the parenting skills that they need to be parents. Now, they may say they don't need these skills, but we know they do.
And most parents, these younger generations, they'll say, oh, I'm not going to raise my child like my mom raised me.
Right.
But you have to go back in the generations, and what we're suffering from generational curses.
Yes.
So if you don't raise your child up, like your grandmama raised your mom, and it has to go down the line. And if it doesn't go down the line, it's broken somewhere. It's broken. It's miscommunication.
You know what Jesus said? He said on his way to Calvary, he said, now weep not for me, but for yourselves and for your children. So that's the curse that you're talking about, that we are dealing with on a daily basis. Across this nation and across this world. So, I mean, no matter how you look at it, you still have to deal with the biblical context to really appreciate what God has left us through the Word of God. And I mean, that's just my perspective.
I'm glad you're here because I think we all have different perspectives here, and I agree with that perspective. But I would also offer, whenever you hear about generational curses, a lot of times it's generational ignorance.
It is, yes.
And people did not know. And what we fail to realize, and not everybody call in at once. Please don't when I say this. But we have some carryovers in our discipline techniques that are carried over from slavery, that are brutal. Now, do I believe in spanking? Yes, I do. With your hands, people, on the bottom.
Right.
Okay, so if it's hurting you, then it's hurting the child. So you should be spanking on the bottom with your bare hand, and only in emergencies, like your baby is about to cross the street. You grab them, you tap them on the behind, and you say, don't cross the street. You don't try to beat out an attitude of a 17-year-old kid. Now you're fighting.
Right, but most parents are doing it out of anger. They're doing it out of anger and not out of love.
They're doing it out of anger and fear, which are both negative emotions that you don't want to discipline from. And so let's go back to slavery. Well, now, if I don't want the master to whip you, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to overcorrect. I'm going to be overly harsh with you to make you strong and make you compliant so that you won't get hurt or beaten up by this master. And I understand that. And a lot of people want the very best for their children, but they're just not doing the right thing.
And what we're talking about is overreacting to.
Yes.
You don't overreact to. But if you go back to what the Bible is saying, train the child, then you should have a perspective that relates to how to train. You understand?
Right. We have a caller.
Sure.
Hi, caller. You're on the couch with Dr. K. How are you today?
How you doing, Dr. K?
I'm fine. How are you? I haven't heard your voice in a while. I've been missing you.
Yeah, well, Dr. K, when you said about slavery, and I checked my ancestor back to my great-grandfather.
Yes, sir.
You know, when you have faith, it doesn't say about black faith or white faith. You know, when the white community enslaved our community, it was a horror thing because I read about it, and you know about African-American history, black history, that faith is no color.
Right.
I think I'm going to be honest, I think black people can do better by trusting God than trusting, other community. Any race that would enslave another race and benefit off another race, that I'm just saying that I'm not a big fan of Louis Farrakhan, that we had to trust God. You know, when they brought us here, you know that you're African American. I can tell you African American.
Right. Really?
That our ancestors, did triumph, like overcome, all the stuff of slavery. Mm-hmm. We had to put more trust in God, not the white man, not the black man. Uh-huh. I trace my African American history. My great grandfather owned land. Mm-hmm. That we have more faith in God. I'm just saying, I'm no fan of Louis Farrakhan. That we're supposed to be in, when the white race enslaved us, lynched us, divided the black race. Right. That we had to have more faith in God. That, the white people, they have problems too.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I almost misspoke because I should have said, a period of time, not just slavery, because we are not the only people who have been enslaved. In fact, African Americans, I have someone here. Wow. Woo. People are texting, sir. Lots of people. I have sister here on the phone, and she says African Americans enslaved other African Americans. Yes, exactly. So we have that going on in Nigeria right now. So exactly. With all of the girls, we want our girls brought back, and what we have to realize is this behavior is human behavior, and I agree with you, caller, in that we have to trust in powers that go beyond the human beings, because human beings make mistakes and they operate oftentimes off of emotions. And sometimes when you're overcorrecting your child, you're operating from negative emotions, and those negative emotions come from irrational thoughts. Mm-hmm. So you see your kid and they make a C on their test, and all of a sudden you start, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you seem like a smart sister, intelligent. Get your own talk show.
Yeah, just on Sundays.
We were dealt a bad hand. That we trusted God to bring us out of slavery, bring us out of Jim Crow. My great grandfather owned land. I thought every African American man was like begging from the white man. If we trust God and we have our first African American president. I'm just being honest. I'm saying the hell with the white man.
Well, sir, may I say something?
No, let me say this. Don't interrupt me.
Okay.
May I say something, sir? You do not use that type of approach when you're dealing with people. We are all God's creation. Right. There are differences, yes. We must overcome the differences, but we do that through love. We do that through peace. It's still the right way. Dr. King tried to let us know it's still a nonviolent situation. When you trust God, what you just said, sir, when you trust God, you know what God teaches. Just be still and know that I am God. He will fight your battle for you.
That's great. That is a great point. When we come back, we're actually going to get to my 4 points for today. Caller, I always enjoy when you call in. Please continue to listen and call in next time, okay? You're on the couch with Dr. K. If you'd like to join in on the conversation, call us at 901-260-5926. For legal experience with a Christian touch, call the law offices of attorneys Juliet Akins and Victoria Gillard. We stop foreclosures and repossessions. Other areas of our practice include personal injury, civil and criminal matters, divorce, child support, child custody, and Social Security cases. Call today at 901-522-0009 or 901-624-8852 for a free consultation. Photography is so much better than reality. Marcus Edward Mediascape is a great photographer. Instead of purchasing plastic surgery, let him do all of your photos today. Try Marcus Edward. He is the plastic surgeon of photographers. Contact Marcus today at www.memediascape.webs.com. Streeter's Total Beauty is a hair salon that invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of beauty today. Dial 901-649-0559. Look to Randa Patton Streeter's lifestyle blog, which also invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of high fashion and glamour. Like her on Facebook today. Are you considering buying or selling a home and don't know where to start? Call Sharon Brown of Cry-Like Realtors at 901-355-7271. To learn more about the services offered by Sharon Brown, visit her on the web at www.sharonbrown.cry-like.com or like her on Facebook today. Her success comes when your home is sold or you have the keys to your new home. Call Sharon Brown of Cry-Like Realtors at 901-355-7271 for all your real estate needs today. And you're back. You're on the couch with Dr. K. If you'd like to join in on our conversation today, we're talking about Mommy Dearest, how moms and dads terrorize and ruin their kids with unrealistic expectations. Give us a call at 901-260-5926. So I have another fact here. And this is actually from a brand new study. It has not been published yet by Timothy Parks, who is a disability specialist for a preschool agency here in Tennessee. And a lot of times, you know, I hear a lot about men saying things, especially when it comes to raising boys. Mm-hmm. You got to man up.
Right.
Man up. Right, you know, even doing stuff like, you know, hitting them on their chest and, you know, punching them and doing stuff to, quote unquote, toughen them up. Right. And I'm not even saying that's wrong. I'm saying if you're going to do something like that, it needs to be in the correct context and at the developmentally appropriate time. Like maybe
mentally
if you're playing
and
football.
Also physically.
Yes, physically. Like if you have a big, you know, 6'8" son who's about to go into football and he gets hit all the time, I understand that. But what's happening is they want a little baby boy to all of a sudden transform into a man at the age of 4, and that is inappropriate. And to hold for 1 second, what Timothy Parks did was he actually did a study, and he looked at dads, their mental healthiness, and how it affects children early on. Because we talk a lot about moms. We talk about, you know, moms and how, you know, what they do affects kids. But in terms of fathers who have mood disorders, and we know sometimes that anger and aggression can come from anxiety. It can come from being depressed. They have an especially powerful impact on children ages 3 to 5 years old, especially boys. Wow. So all of you men out there, you know, just because you're feeling angry and you're feeling like you're under stress and pressure and you're not necessarily feeling like a man, and now you want to make sure your little bitty boy is an extra man, that's not the way to do it.
More man than what you are.
Yes, and that's one of the 4 points. We're going to talk about that when we get to it, because sometimes because of our weaknesses and our fears, we will overcorrect. But Jessie B., I know you were going to tell us something about your development, because I don't know if everybody can see here, but Mr. Hearns actually gave me this beautiful necklace, which is a VIP. So, yes, VIP, I get free drinks. And what else now?
Well, basically, that VIP that you have on is any Jessie B's restaurant. It's Jessie B's world famous TKO Wings and Barbecue.
Okay.
Any restaurants that Jessie B have, you can go into the restaurants and you will get a complimentary hors d'oeuvres, wine, or whatever we have for our VIPs that day. We have a location we're going to open up in Michigan. So, of course, you're going to deal with the snow and all that. What we're going to do, we're going to have valet parking.
I'll wear my mink coat.
Yeah, we'll have valet parking for you.
So you have coat check, right?
Basically, when you come in, you're treated like a VIP. Okay. You know, and that's the type of treatment that we want you to have when you come into Jessie B.
Thank you so
much. Now, Dr. K,
yes, sir.
I've got to interrupt here. You know, make sure that Mr. James Hearns does not forget I need a VIP.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right. Interject in there. Interject. But I have a question for you, Jessie B. In terms of, how you were parented. Do you feel like your parents had unrealistic expectations? Because you've done a lot in life. And so how did that happen for you?
Basically, my dad passed when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
My brother Tommy was fighting for his first world title with Pepino Cuevas in 1981.
Okay.
And my dad died 2 days before the fight.
Oh, wow.
And Tommy was looking around to put the belt around Dad's waist, and Dad wasn't there. And, of course, it was devastating to us. And I just had to basically go out on my own and do the things that I had to do as a young child. To get through school and basically figure out where I wanted to go in life.
Okay.
And the caller the guy that just called, he was saying about how people will hold you back and, the white population. Basically, you can do whatever that you want to do in life. I started off my barbecue business right here in Memphis, Tennessee, on Ridgeway and Mount Moriah.
Wow.
I started off with one barbecue grill and a pickup truck.
Okay.
And those of you know me as my customers, you know what I'm talking about. Running from the health department.
Yeah, because I was going to say, isn't that illegal?
Running from code enforcement. And I really I thank God for Judge Potter.
Okay.
And he saw my vision. And every time I went in before him in court, he would look at me kind of funny. And I say, Judge, Your Honor, only thing I'm trying to do is basically just take care of my family. I'm not out there trying to rob, steal, or kill nobody. I said, I'm just trying to sell them some good barbecue. It started off right there at Ridgeway and Mount Moriah at Salmonized Car Wash. I started off selling hot dogs.
Okay.
It went from hot dogs to hot dogs and hamburgers.
Okay.
From hot dogs, hamburgers, everybody wanted chicken wings.
Right.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, and chicken wings to ribs.
Okay.
From that place to Jessie, I moved down the street and opened up the restaurant down there. I went from there to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We have locations in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, 2 locations. And from Hattiesburg, Mississippi to Petal, Mississippi. And our restaurants just won the 2013 Urban Spoon Restaurant of the Year Award, which is very hard to win. That's just like a movie winning an Oscar.
Right,
and I just thank God every day that he's able to let me grow the way that he have let me grow. And now we have our barbecue sauces out. We have our seasonings, of course, the season that you tasted. We have our rubs. And you get ready to get Jessie B's food products in your local grocery stores. The macaroni and cheese, the pulled pork, the greens, the baked beans, and also the ribs.
Okay, so now on the Dr. K Show, I'm going to have to stop you with your shameless plug.
But Mr. Hearns, the plug was good, Dr. K.
It was good. Good job.
He got it in. I am sending you a bill for $100.
You still gave God the credit, sir.
Yes, sir.
That brought you from where you were to where you are.
Right.
So that's what I'm still trying to...
And what I want to take from that story is that judge. Because as parents, we all sit as judges over our kids every day. And what that judge did was, rather than, because you came a lot, you were there often. So rather than overcorrecting, because he could have said, I'm sick of seeing you and I'm going to throw you in jail, and that should teach you a lesson.
That's why it's legal for people to sell barbecue on the corners of Memphis, Tennessee right now. Due to me and a couple of other guys, Papa Chuck and different guys like that. Here in Memphis, Tennessee.
And so what that judge decided to do was to see your vision and to nurture you, to give you a chance to see that behavior as a way of getting that you were trying to get to the next level.
And that's what we need to do as parents with our kids. We need to see that vision, and we have to feed that vision, and we have to make sure that we do everything in moderation.
Right.
You know, just like you were saying about the father punching the kid. You know, number one, the kid at 3 years old is not mentally able to take what's going on with what his father's doing with him.
Yes.
Nor is he physically able to take that punch.
That is very true. Because think about this, and my mother used to say this all of the time, and it's just now hitting me how important this is. She would say, literally, put yourself in the place of a child.
Yep.
And she would say, no, get down on all fours.
Right.
So you can be as small as they are and now look up. and see how the world looks. So imagine how that looks. You're a 3-year-old, you're way down here, and you have someone who is 4 feet.
You're looking at a giant.
Taller. You're looking at a giant
exactly.
who is yelling at you and hitting you.
Right.
What does that show?
The perspective here, I'm still back to, and this is my thing, I have to be, that's my life.
Exactly.
It's still back to 1 Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I spake as a child.
Yep.
I understood as a child. So parents have to have a process in their life as well.
Yes.
You don't just become a parent now overnight.
Right. It's a process.
It's a process of mother. It's a process of the father.
Right.
The process is you have to appreciate what the process is.
Right.
And you cannot become the parent you were maybe with the first child.
Right.
But the growing process, the
learning
you
experience.
will have.
Exactly.
So if God said, Mama, hold the baby for 9 months, you're being taught during the 9 months. But that same mother, isn't it amazing, Mr. Hearns, Dr. K?
Yes.
On Mother's Day, guess really who was the backbone? Mom.
Right.
Mother,
No matter what happened, you went to mama.
Mother made sure you could go to her wrong, and she'd make it right.
You're wrong to right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying we have to understand though we're still trying to bring mom and dad to the table.
Right, and that's why it's so important.
And it's so important to do that
for our mothers and fathers to know the right things to do.
Sure.
Because I truly believe that even when I'm seeing people with bad behavior, their belief systems are just off. Because they believe they're doing the right thing. When you talk to these fathers or mothers, they wouldn't say, well, yeah, I'm thinking I'm abusing my kids.
Because basically they're learning from the TV set.
Right.
They're looking to see what's going on TV, and they say, oh, I can do that. Oh, that's how it's supposed to be done. And that's why you have kids raising kids.
And the other part of that is you cannot train your children as your next door neighbor.
Right.
You see, we all have something called sense of value.
Yep.
And everybody has developed that level of sense of value. You see, what's valuable to you, Mr. Hearns, may not be valuable to me. It may not be valuable to Dr. K or D. But at the end of the day, there is a value system.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
That goes along with our culture that will make us a better people.
Well, let's talk to somebody who's younger. So, D, what do you think about the parents who are out here and they just have these unrealistic expectations? And I know you're from a different generation of parenting. What do you think about it?
Exactly. What is the question? What do I think about?
The question is, what are your thoughts about parents having these unrealistic expectations of kids? Do you think in this day and age, do parents have those unrealistic expectations? Like they, I mean, that's what I've seen, but you may have seen something different.
Well, I think it's unrealistic to think that your child is they're gonna raise themselves. You know, a lot of times you have the parents that do their thing, still want to go out or whatever the case is.
All right, D. All right, D.
And then they have the kids kind of just doing whatever they want to do. And then you get kids, 13, 14 pregnant. You know, you get that whole thing going on. Because kids will be kids, but you have to train them into doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that made me remember a comment I got yesterday from Tanya, who was talking about a parent literally making the kid raise themselves, because people don't realize that's another form of terror.
Right.
When you are leaving a kid alone, and sometimes you have young parents and older parents, they have substance abuse issues. They're in the back room, and they're like, don't come back here, leave my door closed, don't be going through my stuff, y'all up there, y'all be quiet.
Right. Or even leaving...
They're 4. How can they be quiet?
Or even leaving a 11-year-old to raise the 5, 6, and 7-year-old.
Right.
How can an 11-year-old do that?
With no respect of gender.
Right.
Because now you have an 11-year-old boy who is supposed to be raising a 5-year-old girl.
Exactly.
And then we're wondering why, what's happening? Somebody messing with you? He's an 11-year-old boy.
Right.
And not all boys do that. But why even set up the situation?
Right.
You have to be very careful.
Very careful.
When it comes to dealing with young people.
Yes.
You see, I keep trying to share with people, you establish a value system. I'm the PK kid. Years ago at my age, and I don't mind sharing mine. I've been around long enough. But at the age of 63, I still love old school.
Yes, sir.
I still love my mother.
Right.
But she was able to look at me because there was a value system in the house.
Yep.
Okay.
These young people now, their parents don't know where they are. Don't talk to them about where are you going from here.
Yep.
They're just like, just get away from me.
Right. Now,
I don't care what you do.
Just do whatever.
He said
Shut up and get away from me.
something that's really real. Parents 45 down, they still want to have a good time.
And
they still want to party. I understand
but
all that.
But just get a babysitter, at least an appropriate babysitter.
Wait a minute. It's not that simple. There's still nothing like the love and care of a parent. I don't care who's the daycare, the babysitter. Real just going to tell you, I still say, Mama, be there for your child.
Yes.
Now, I know you can't do 24/7, but you can be there.
And that's what I'm talking about. And we're going to get to my 4 points after this next break. You're on the couch with Dr. K. If you'd like to join in on this lively conversation, give us a call at 901-260-5926, 901-260-KWAM.
If it matters to Memphis, you'll hear all about it on AM 990 KWAM.
Are you considering buying or selling a home and don't know where to start? Call Sharon Brown of Carlike Realtors at 901-355-7271. To learn more about the services offered by Sharon Brown, visit her on the web at www.sharonbrown.cry-like.com or like her on Facebook today. Her success comes when your home is sold or you have the keys to your new home. Call Sharon Brown of Carlike Realtors at 901-355-7271 for all your real estate needs today. Photography is so much better than reality. Marcus Edward Mediascape is a great photographer. Instead of purchasing plastic surgery, let him do all of your photos today. Try Marcus Edward. He is the plastic surgeon of photographers. Contact Marcus today at www.memediascape.webs.com. For legal experience with a Christian touch, call the law offices of attorneys Juliet Akins and Victoria Gillard. We stop foreclosures and repossessions. Other areas of our practice include personal injury, civil and criminal matters, divorce, child support, child custody, and Social Security cases. Call today at 901-522-0009 or 901-624-8852 for free consultation. Streeter's Total Beauty is a hair salon that invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of beauty today. Dial 901-649-0559. Look to Randa Patton Streeter's lifestyle blog, which also invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of high fashion and glamour. Like her on Facebook today. All right, you're back. You're on the couch with Dr. K. If you'd like to participate in our last few minutes, give us a call at 901-260-5926. So we're here and we're arguing and talking and even over the break, talking about Mommy Dearest, how moms and dads terrorize and ruin their kids with unrealistic expectations. Did we have a call before? Okay, let me take the caller then. Hi, caller. You're on the air with Dr. K.
Yes, Dr. K. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm fine. I have been listening to you for a while now.
Well, thank you so much, and please continue to listen.
I shall, but I want to disagree with you about something.
You're welcome to do that.
I'm a real senior citizen.
Okay.
And My mother always said, you don't spank a child with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, you're in an emotional state, and you can really hurt that child severely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's best to have just a little switch. You just want to stamp them. You don't.
Oh my!
Please don't take me back there. Please don't take me back there with that switch.
You don't want to jam up and mess them up for life.
Right,
just
right.
a little
switch and give them a few little whelps.
Is there a such thing as a little bitty switch?
Don't hit them that hard.
Right.
You just want to discipline them.
Right.
Just that switch. They know I've done the wrong thing.
Right.
So please tell them not to hit them with their hands because you're a little bit emotional. And most hands are big and they're heavy.
Oh, I get what you're saying. And I think the point of that is, I like what you talked about, the anger.
Right,
don't hit the child when you're angry.
Not ever.
Whatever you hit them with. Because even if you hit them with a switch, if you're angry, then they're going to have about 1,000 whelps on them. So you need to give yourself a timeout.
But if that child is a little child, you just need a little teeny little switch.
Yes, those hurt worse.
Right.
Those hurt worse, the little bitty teeny ones. But no, I totally understand what you're saying, and thank you. Because, I really appreciate your comment.
I've seen parents that do that.
Yes.
And I've got a big mouth. I'll go say something, and I'll say, please, may I please?
Yes, ma'am.
And so far, I've encountered people that have been very nice to me, and they apologize. And I'll say something funny like, thank you for not beating me up.
All right.
And they'll just laugh.
That's 2014, my dear. You're right.
I'll continue
exactly. Well, I appreciate you and continue to do that because people are hungry for that type of correction because you're correcting people out of love and in a loving way so they can correct their little ones correctly.
I have been told I better stop it, but I feel so sorry when I see the little kids.
Yes, I can understand that. Yes.
And I know they don't mean to
right. Well, I think sometimes when if someone corrects them in the right way, they will accept it, and then they will do better. Thank you so much for calling, and please continue to listen. So we're going to go to our 4 points for today because we have a lot going on with people who are mommy dearest and moms and dads who are terrorizing and ruining their kids with these unrealistic expectations. So my major points today would be no, 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 no. Let's say that together. No, no, and no.
No.
Number 1, know the difference between your dreams and your child's dreams. What your child hopes and dreams to do is not necessarily what you want to do. So you need to know when to separate those. Number 2, know your child's limits. When you're trying to get your child to do something, they should be able to master it at a level of 85%. If they're not able to do most of it, you are making them work at a point of frustration, and that will ruin their self-esteem. And that is something that will create a broken child. Next, no. Kids, quote, be what they see. And I got that from Dr. Warren Harper. And it's incorrect English, but it is correct knowledge.
Right,
Kids will be what they see.
Whether it's right or wrong.
Whether it's right or wrong. And sometimes you're thinking when you're overcorrecting that correction will make the proper behavior. No. What they see is a bully.
Right.
And your kid will then be a bully.
Right.
What they hear are criticisms, and your child will then be a criticizer. They see someone who is mean, who's a giant, and that is who they become. So kids will be what they see. And then lastly, you need to know when to get help. You need to know when to get help for yourself, because maybe you're suffering from some emotional problem or a lot of stress and you're acting out of character, or maybe you're acting out of lack of knowledge. Get help. And then know when to get help for your child, because sometimes as parents, we can put a little crack in the self-esteem and the outlook of our children, but also know that every day is a new day and you can go back and correct that Get them the help they need to cement their hearts, cement their self-esteem so they can go on into life and to develop into adults who are healthy and happy.
And I say to that, Dr. K.
Yes, sir.
It's still a journey of faith, hope, and love.
Yes, yes.
Our children need love, agape love, more than ever before.
Yes.
Because their future depends on our teaching them what love is.
Leadership.
And that way, when we know the home is working, let me just use the old time way. We used to go from door to door and eat, right?
Yeah.
We don't even know who lives next door.
That's
so
true.
now
you
don't know. So now our children need that kind of personal contact. Talk to your children. The Bible even teaches against provoking the children.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is there must be a relationship. Between parents
That's the key word,
and
relationship.
the children.
Yes.
And I can't take the relationship in my home and put it in your home, but we can all work together to make sure that there are relationships.
Right. And we have to relate properly. And I like those last three words that you said, because those are some of the last three words that I say at the end of every one of our sessions together. I always say, I wish you a life full of love, peace, and happiness.
Yes.
Remember, if you can't be in love, at least try to be happy.
Pharrell's song is the song of the day, right? I had to close church out. I'm sorry. I said, we got to play. Pharrell got the song and the music, Jonda, from the church.
Right.
And I'm just saying, but the thought is be happy.
Right.
I can be happy financially broke. I can be happy financially rich.
Right.
But I can be happy.
Right.
Yes.
So you want to, if you can't be in love, then at least try to be happy. If you can't be happy, then at least try to be at peace. But if your peace has been disturbed, then you need to change your situation. Thank you so much for listening, listeners. You have been on the couch with Dr. K right here on AM 990. Please remember to like us on Facebook at On the Couch with Dr. K. Email us any questions, concerns, or any advice you may need at onthecouchwithdr.k@gmail.com. Everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful, and blessed Sunday. Thank you so much for listening.